and welcome to our today's session. Today we meet here to discuss inflation. But before that, let me introduce myself. I am Pradeep and I faced civil services interview 3 times, that is in 2011, 2013 and 2014. I have 8-year teaching experience. I take classes for economy and polity for GS and sociology as optional. So let's start our today's session. So the very first question is that what is inflation? So for the layman, inflation is nothing but a situation in which the prices of most of the goods and services are increasing continuously and for the longer period of time. That's why inflation can be referred as persistent increase in the general price level over a period of time. So the keyword here is persistent, general price level and over a period of time. So the persistent is nothing but regular, general price level is nothing but the average prices of goods and services or average price level in the economy, and over a period of time is nothing but for the longer period. That's why the inflation can also be defined as increase in average prices of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. Okay, so this is nothing but a situation. Inflation is nothing but a situation in which the prices of most of the goods are increasing continuously and for a longer period of time, and because of that what happened, the rupee loses its purchasing power or real value. So inflation is situation in which purchasing power of rupee or the real value of rupee reduces. How it happened, we will try to understand it with an example. Suppose A is there in any economy who is having 100 rupees, okay, and average price level in the economy is 10 rupees per unit, 10 rupees per unit. So with 100 rupees at the rate of 10 rupees per unit, how many units A can purchase? 10 units. Now suppose the average price in the economy increases from 10 rupees per unit to 20 rupees per unit. With 100 rupees at the rate of 20 rupees, how many units A can purchase? 5 units only. Okay, so that means the purchasing power of rupee 100 or the purchasing power of A has reduced from 10 units to 5 units, has reduced from 10 units to 5 units, and it has reduced because of increase in the average prices of economy from 10 rupees to 20 rupees. So this is nothing but a situation in which the prices or the average price level in the economy increases continuously and for the longer period of time, and because of that rupee loses its purchasing power or real value. Now we will try to understand the different type of inflation. So in order to know the types of inflation, we have to understand that inflation is nothing but increase in prices only, and prices in any economy is determined by the market forces, that is demand and supply, demand and supply. And if the prices are changing or prices are increasing, it is increasing either because of the change in demand or because of the change in supply. So that means if the prices in the economy is increasing, it is increasing either the aggregate demand of the economy has increased or aggregate supply of the economy has reduced. That's why the inflation can be categorized under 2 categories, that is demand pull inflation or cost push inflation or supply shock inflation. I am going to repeat once again that as I said that we are going to discuss the types of inflation. So first we have to focus on the inflation only. Inflation is nothing but increase in prices or change in prices, or price in any economy is determined by market forces, that is demand and supply. So if the change is taking place or increase is taking place in the prices of goods or services, it is going to take place either because of the change in demand or because of the change in supply. That's why it is going to be referred as demand pull inflation or cost push inflation. So the prices in the economy is going to increase either because of the increase in demand or because of the decrease in supply. I am going to repeat once again, the prices in economy is going to increase either because of the increase in aggregate demand. Aggregate demand is nothing but the total demand in the economy, either because of the increase in total demand of the economy or because of the decrease in the aggregate supply, that is total supply in the economy. That's why the inflation can be categorized as demand pull inflation or cost push inflation or supply shock inflation. So what happened? Now we will try to understand it one by one. So what happened? That means, as I said, that the prices, okay, that is going to be the demand pull inflation or cost push inflation. So what is going to be demand pull inflation? That aggregate demand, in case of demand pull inflation, the aggregate demand in the economy has increased. Aggregate demand in the economy has increased, but aggregate supply is constant. Okay, aggregate supply is constant. In case of demand pull inflation, what happened? In case of demand pull inflation, what happened? The aggregate demand, that means total demand in the economy has increased, but aggregate supply, that is total supply in the economy, is constant. And the total demand has increased and supply is constant. In that situation, the prices are bound to increase. The prices are bound to increase, and that type of increase in price is known as demand pull inflation. Is known as demand pull inflation. Okay, I am going to repeat once again. Demand pull inflation. In case of demand pull inflation, what happened? The aggregate demand, meaning total demand in the economy, has increased. Okay, why it has increased? It has increased because the purchasing power of the people has increased. Purchasing power of people have increased, meaning money supply, money in the hands of the people has increased, and with that increase the purchasing power or increased in money supply, the pupils are going to make the demand. And when the pupils are going to make the demand in the economy, the aggregate demand of the economy is going to increase, whereas the supplier is not able to increase the supply, and supply is constant and aggregate demand in the economy has increased. Because of that, the prices are bound to increase, and that type of inflation is known as demand pull inflation. That type of inflation is known as demand pull inflation. Now we will discuss the another type of inflation, that is cost push inflation. In case of cost push inflation, what happened? The aggregate demand in the economy is constant. That means total demand in the economy has not increased, but the aggregate supply in the economy has reduced, meaning total supply in the economy has reduced. And why the total supply has reduced? Because of the increase in cost of production. Because of the increase in cost of production, the total supply in the economy has increased, and because of that, the aggregate demand is more than aggregate supply. Aggregate demand is more than aggregate supply, and that type of inflation is known as cost push inflation. What happened? That aggregate demand in case I am going to repeat once again, in case of cost push inflation, what happen, aggregate demand of the economy, meaning total demand in the economy is constant, that has not increased, but aggregate supply has reduced. Why the aggregate supply has reduced? Because of the increase in cost of production. Because of the increase in cost of production, the aggregate supply has reduced, whereas aggregate demand is constant, but because of reduction in the aggregate supply, the aggregate demand has become greater than aggregate supply. In that case, the prices are bound to increase, and that type of inflation is known as cost push inflation. That type of inflation is known as cost push inflation. We will try to understand it with an example. Suppose the A is there in any economy, and he has the 100 rupees as the resources, and the cost of production is 10 rupees per unit. 10 rupees per unit. So that means with that 100 rupees at the rate of 10 rupees per unit, how much production A can take? 10 units. A can produce 10 units. Now A is having 100 rupees, okay, and the cost of production has increased from 10 rupees to 20 rupees per unit, okay, and in that new circumstances, how much A can produce? A can produce only 5 units, whereas earlier A was producing 10 units. Now A is only able to produce 5 units, so the production capacity of A has reduced from 10 units to 5 units. So that means aggregate demand is of 10 units, okay. Now the aggregate demand is still the 10 units. Earlier the aggregate supply was 10 units. In the next now new circumstances, aggregate supply has reduced from 10 units to 5 units. In this case, the aggregate demand has increased, has become more than aggregate supply, because demand is of 10 units and supply is of the 5 units. So that means the prices are bound to increase, and that type of inflation is known as cost push inflation or supply shock inflation. That type of inflation is known as cost push inflation or supply shock inflation. That type of inflation is known as cost push inflation or supply shock inflation. Now we will try to understand demand pull inflation and cost push inflation with the dramatical representation also. Suppose on the x axis we have taken the general price level or the average price level in the economy, on the whereas on x axis we have taken the national income. Aggregate demand or aggregate supply is nothing but the national income, okay, total income or national income of the national income, okay. So aggregate demand and aggregate supply can also be that means going to give the idea of the national income, okay. So when we depict the aggregate demand curve, okay, so what is going to be, aggregate demand curve is always going to be downward sloping, because what happened, because of the law of demand, because of law of demand, what happened, as the prices are going to increase, the demand of the commodity is going to decrease. There is inverse relation between the prices and quantity demanded. Because of that, the demand curve is always downward sloping. Demand curve is downward sloping. That's why demand, aggregate demand in our case is depicted by AD, which is having the downward sloping, okay, whereas aggregate supply curve is being depicted with the AS, okay, which has upward sloping. And this is because of the law of supply, because of the aggregate supply curve is upward sloping, and it is upward sloping because of the law of supply. What the law of supply says? Law of supply says that as the prices in the economy is going to increase, because of that supply is also going to increase, meaning there is direct relation between the price increase and quantity supplied. Because of that, the supply curve is always upward sloping, whereas the demand curve is always downward sloping. So that means that what happened, the demand curve is depicted with the AD and the supply curve is depicted AS. That's why the equilibrium is at the point P, equilibrium is at the point E, so the prices was determined at point P. Okay, now what happened, that as I said, that demand pull inflation, the demand has increased, okay, because of the increase in money supply, because of the increase in purchasing power of the economy, the demand has increased, and whenever the demand is going to increase, demand curve is going to shift rightward. Okay, whenever there is increase in demand or increase in supply, the demand curve or supply curve will shift rightward. Whenever there is decrease in the demand or supply, the demand curve or supply curve will shift leftward. Okay, so in case of demand pull inflation, what happens, because of the increase in the purchasing power of the economy, because of the increase in money supply, the aggregate demand in the economy has increased. Because of that, the AD curve is going to shift its rightward. Okay, so the new AD curve is going to be AD1, whereas supply is constant, so the new equilibrium is going to be established at point E. So the new equilibrium is going to establish at point E. So the prices is going to be, new price level is going to be at point P1. New price level is going to be at point P1. So this movement from P to P1, okay, is nothing but demand pull inflation. This movement from P to P1 is nothing but demand pull inflation. That means the prices has increased from P to P1, and this is because of the increase in aggregate demand, and aggregate demand has increased because of the increase in the purchasing power. Okay, and that's why the people's purchasing power has increased, and because of that the production capacity is also going to increase. Okay, so the national income in the future, the producer is going to increase the supply. Okay, so the national income is also going to increase from Y to Y1. So that means the moderate level of demand pull inflation is always good for the economy. Moderate level of the demand pull inflation is always good for the economy, because it give the indication that there is not the scarcity of the demand in the economy. People have the purchasing power, and it motivates the producer to produce more. As a result, the national income is going to increase. Okay, and that type of inflation is known as demand pull inflation. Now we will proceed further, and we will try to understand with the grammatical representation of cost push inflation. Okay, in the cost push inflation also, we have taken on the y-axis, we have taken the general price level. On the x-axis, we have taken the national income or aggregate demand and aggregate supply, aggregate demand or aggregate supply. So as I said that the cost push inflation, in case of cost push inflation, what is the situation? Aggregate demand is constant. Okay, that aggregate demand has not increased, this is constant. Aggregate demand in the economy, in case of cost push inflation, aggregate demand in the economy is constant, but aggregate supply has reduced. And why the aggregate supply has reduced? Because of increase in the cost of production. Because of the increase in cost of production, the aggregate supply has reduced. Okay, and because of that, aggregate demand has become more than aggregate supply, and that type of inflation is known as cost push inflation. So that means aggregate demand curve is downward sloping because of the law of demand. Okay, so that means as the prices are going to increase, quantity demanded is going to be reduced, and that's why the demand curve is always downward sloping. And in our case, the demand curve is depicted with the AD. Okay, demand curve is being depicted with the AD. Okay, and initial supply curve was AS. Okay, where that means, and AS, aggregate supply curve, is upward sloping. And why it is upward sloping? Because of the law of supply. As the prices in any economy is going to increase, the supply is also going to increase, and that's why supply curve is upward sloping. Now we will discuss the cost push inflation. So in case of cost push inflation, the aggregate demand in the economy is constant, but aggregate supply has reduced, and whenever there is decrease in aggregate supply, the supply curve is going to shift leftward. Okay, whenever there is increase, the supply curve or demand curve will shift rightward, but when there is decrease, the supply curve or demand curve will shift leftward. So in case of cost push inflation, the aggregate supply reduces. Because of that, the aggregate supply curve is going to shift leftward, and aggregate supply curve become AS1. Okay, so in the initial phase, in the earlier situation, in the starting point, when the aggregate demand curve was AD and aggregate supply curve was AS, the equilibrium was at point E, so the prices was P. Okay, when the aggregate supply reduced because of the increase in cost of production, the aggregate supply reduces, and so the aggregate supply curve shifts to its leftward, and aggregate supply curve become AS1, and in the new circumstances, the equilibrium was established at point E. Okay, so the prices were determined at point P1. Prices was determined at point P1, and this movement of prices from P to P1, this movement of prices from P to P1 is nothing but cost push inflation, or supply shock inflation. Okay, so this is the best condition for economy, because the cost push inflation is not instrumental only for increase in prices, but it is also instrumental for decrease in the national income, because the national income has reduced from buy to buy one. Okay, has reduced. Okay, so the cost push inflation is instrumental for the increase in prices as well as reduction in the national income. So this is the best condition for any economy. And why the national income reduces? Because the cost of production has increased, so producer is not going to produce. Okay, that means that producer do not have the production capacity is not. That's why the producer in the long run, the producer is going to phase out the labor. Okay, and because of that, purchasing power is going to reduce, and because of that, the national income is going to reduce. Okay, and this situation is, that means slowdown in the economy is going to take place, and this is going to be best condition for any economy. So the cost push inflation is not only instrumental for increase in prices, but it is also instrumental for the reduction in the national income. So it is the best condition for any economy. And today we finish our discussion here only. We will meet tomorrow. Thank you very much, dear. Thanks a lot.